like how Magic has like vehicles that you can like, you know, like commandeer and be like, okay,
I guess what I'm talking about is kind of vehicle-like.
Yeah, well, that's kind of more the route they should go, and leave equips to actually spell cards. Because I don't think monsters should just be like, or equipping. You have fusions for that. It's just it's weird when you're like, we're working together, but we're not fusing. It's like, then what? And it never looks right to see a monster in the spell and trap red zone. It just doesn't.
I don't know. I just want some way to just stack power on somehow. I don't know how to describe it other than equipment.
Sounds like an XYZ something. Okay, my number 2 is be more creative with card effects. We were talking about this. Absolutely kills me, man, when like you want to like a card. You look at the picture and you're like, that looks awesome,
cool.
whatever. Exactly. You're like, I love it. Okay, what does it do? And then you'll be like, once per turn during iPlayer's turn, when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, quick effect, negate and destroy that card. And then it's like, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this card leaves the field, then grab a resource back. Every single card does one of those 3 effects, and sometimes 2 or 3 of those effects all in one. It's lazy. Can we not think of anything else? Okay, me personally, one of my favorite effects that you can consider as like a staple, I guess not a staple, but just like something that they've repeated before. Boss monsters that can banish something from the archetype out of their grave to pop stuff. I've always liked that, and I think that's fair, because without the stuff from your archetype, those cards being splashed in it, can you splash a Master Hyperion into Cyber Angels? Nope, because that doesn't work. Yeah. Well, he can banish Light Fairies, I suppose, so he's a little different case.
Sure.
Okay, but Grapha, you know, the Dark World or whatever.
Yeah, Grapha comes back.
Yeah, and Grapha comes back. Grapha, like, whenever that card, it has to be, I'm pretty sure it has to be a Dark Lord. Maybe it is a Fiend, I don't remember, but I think it has to be a Dark Lord. Stuff like that has to be. You can't just splash that whenever you want and get its effect. I like something. High Priestess, you know, for spellbooks, has to be spellbook cards that you're banishing.
Tell you what I'm getting really sick of is play something, get something from your deck. Or play something special from your deck.
Oh, so so what I described as the boss monsters that are usually either extra deck or like, you know, like something high from your main deck. What's killing me is every low monster is like special summon me. Why? Just because special summon, and then like you said, Jesse, the restriction. Well, you can't go into anything but what you're going to go into anyway for the rest of the turn.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. You can't special summon except for machine monsters for the rest of your turn.
Speedroids, you can't special summon except for wind monsters. Oh no, I'm only going to go to wind monsters.
That's your whole archetype. There's
zombies.
No point in saying that.
You can't special summon except zombies for the rest of the turn. Well, I know I'm going to go into zombies. Cyber dragons, you can't special summon except for going into machines. Rank 10 trains, you can't special summon except for going into machines for the rest of the turn.
It's my least favorite effect on anything.
They've done it with everything.
Second least favorite, because I hate negation.
Resonators, you can't go into anything else besides Synchro Monsters for the rest of the turn.
But that's what you do. That's what that does.
Yeah,
there's no point in saying that.
One, there's no point in saying it, and two, I mean, it prevents other people from splashing that stuff into other decks, but that's all it does. It still doesn't balance itself in its own deck, and that's the problem. Is cards that can just be like, special summon me, special summon me, lazy. Have a requirement to get on the field first. Have a requirement.
I get the point that it stops them from going wild outside of what they're supposed to do, but what they're supposed to do is already fucking done.
There should be one card in the game that can just freely special summon himself. Jester Confident. You know what he is? A 0 attack, 0 defense. Has no protection. He's weak as fuck. He's level 1.
Not a tuner.
Not a tuner. He's the only card that, in my opinion, should just have that with no setup whatsoever to special summon me. That's it. So that's my big, I mean, we completely agree on this. That that's the biggest problem is like generic effects. Don't get me wrong. I'm okay with like every now and again if like a card, the harder a card is to get out, I'm cool if you make him like OP as fuck. Like if he's like hard as fuck to get out. Can I use like my dinosaur as an example? Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is not hard to get out. I don't deny that at all. I love that he banished the 2 dinosaurs in the graveyard. I love that kind of setup. Not much of a setup, but I like it. But like, would you agree that his effect is unique? What other monster can destroy something, hand or field, and then book everything? What other monster does that? That's unique.
Yeah.
He doesn't negate anything. And I know that, like, I'm not saying that he sucks. Don't get me wrong. I admit that, like, he's broken. But, like, I'm just saying that, like, that's a different way to do a boss monster where you don't have to be, like, negate everything. You can just be like, what if we book everything? That's unique. Obviously, because of Lynx, he sucks now. Because if someone's got a Link field, well, they can't go on defense because they don't have defense. And I'm like, retarded. But, okay.
I feel like they should just be destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but
they don't have a defense, and they have to be switched to defense. I think they should just die.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
But like, there's variety that you can do in the game that like just a lot of times they're not. Okay, why do I love Cyberdarks? And I know Cyberdark sucks. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's gonna be like Cyberdark's terrible. Cyber Dark Dragon, the fact that you like equip one big dragon from your graveyard, I get all this attack points. I love that. And don't get me wrong, it could use a little bit more protection, but it doesn't need quick effect negate, do this, whatever. And I hate that shit. Honestly, I'm with you. It depends on the like Dark Magicians. I'm okay with like a little quick effect negation because that deck's gonna be like, I'm not gonna OTK you. I'm gonna like put you in your place, slow the fuck down. We're running at my pace, which is slow, and I'm gonna like stun you out. I'm okay with decks like that doing it, but I can't stand like when an OTK deck where I'm like, all right, let's go, like Mermail's like, all right, let's go, and then like have a monster's like quick effect negate shit. I'm like, I don't need that. I don't want that. I don't want a quick. But some people, that's all they do. You were talking about making DDDs. One reason why I hate the deck is because it's not, hey, look at these cool DDD monsters we can get out. It's how many negates can I get? How many, like first turn, how many negates can I put on the board? That's all it is.
I just like their artwork. I've never read the cards.
Don't bother because it's fucking stupid. But it's just certain decks that like Mermail's. It's not negates that you can put on the board. It's how many cards can you rip out of your opponent's hand. Gishkis. I've made a new version of that deck. How many cards can you rip out of your opponent's hand? That's a little more original than just negate. That's a negate. That's a negate. That's unaffected. That's just.
When you can put like 6 negates on your board and just pass your turn to your opponent, and you do that on your first turn and it's consistent, that's when you know there's something wrong with the fucking game.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that was long enough for mine. Go ahead.
I kind of touched on it a little bit in that just now, but my biggest beef with the entirety of Yu-Gi-Oh right now is cost. And the fact that there just isn't cost to anything anymore. Everything covers its own cost by fetching something from the deck. Everything just has an effect that does something that's ridiculous on the field that doesn't take anything. They just do it. You don't need to ditch. You don't need to banish something. There's no resource management. It just fucking works, and it's real bad when you can just sit on like one creature. It's like quick effect, stop anything, and your opponent can't do jack shit about it, and you don't have to expend a resource. You don't have to do anything for it. It just happens.
Continue. I want to make sure we're still rolling.
It just becomes an issue when like you get one thing out and you can sit on that and not do anything else because you can just build up resources while your opponent can't do anything about anything, and they have to spend resources to get past the thing that you've already made. It makes going first like the ultimate move, and nothing can get past a board that has 2 negates on it because you only get 1 normal summon, and maybe you're stopping special summonings, or there's summoning limit on the board, floodgates that stop anything from happening the moment one person gets their board established, and then getting past something like that becomes a nuisance. Now, I just want to play the game, and there's just so much that happens if I don't go first that stops me from playing the game. And then even after I get started, if I don't have a deck that's like tier fucking 0 and I'm playing against somebody that just wants to win the fucking game and they shield out enough money for it, they can just do anything the fuck they want.
Long rant there. Okay, let me try to get into this. Yeah, I 100% agree, and that kind of goes into what I was talking about, reverse power creep. Yeah, it's just hey, we're going to make cards. Like you said, the biggest thing is like they're like, well, if it doesn't fetch another card from the deck, then it sucks. It's like, that's not true at all. Or if they're like, it has to special summon itself. No, it doesn't. I hate when people are like, well, I have to use my normal summon on it. Oh my gosh, like what a terrible concept that you actually...
What a price to pay.
Yeah, I know, it's so stupid. I know, it's like, are you kidding me, man? Like, they want everything. These Yu-Gi-Oh fans have kind of just become the most like needy, like ungrateful people. Like, in my opinion, like, you act like you have to have, everything has to be just spoon-fed to you. It's like,
it's the constant, we need more, we need more.
Yeah, like, oh, this needs to be faster, kills me when like they'll ask for support for decks. I'm like, you don't need any support.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so like,
give us Celtic Guardian support.
Like decks that I'm like, I don't like, my Cyber Dragon deck, they've come out with like so much support in the last couple of years, and I'm like, it's hard for me to keep up. I'm like, okay, so I put this in here, and it's become not what it used to be. It used to be a fun deck for me, and like now I'm like, okay, so like, what's the play? Every card turns into level 5 that I can go into Nova and Infinity, and it's like,
hey, did you want Infinity no matter what?
Yeah.
Your opponent could negate you fucking 16 times.
And then they added new fusion support, but then that's also kind of stupid too, because there's now a quick play that I can just attack, activate quick play, fusion summon like Cyber Twin or Chimera Tech Rampage or like, and now I'll attack you for game and kill you right there. And I'm like, I don't like stuff like that that's searchable. They made a Power Bond that's searchable. You don't need to search Power Bond. They made a card that searches Power Bond. You don't need to search Power Bond. Power Bond's too good of a card to be searched with no cost.
Yeah.
That's my thing. And even though that card, no one plays it because it's not actually that good, it does require some setup. I'm just saying that, like, you don't need a card like that. Let Power Bond, the only card that can search it's like Left Arm Offering and Ancient Gear Drill. That's it.
And I've heard people say things like, well, the components that make up a card are the cost of the card, but just go first, son, you're done. That's it. A hand trap stops some things, but not everything. And you're not going to have 5 hand traps in your hand to stop everything at once. And hand traps aren't fucking fun to play. Like that, when the problem comes down to I have to have something that's immediate that I can stop something with in order to play the game at all, that's when you know the game's got a problem.
That's why I don't play hand traps. The only hand trap that I play is Effect Failure in my level 1 deck because it has synergy with the deck. It makes sense. And I like it, I like it, and it's not too ridiculous. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it, like, once again, just kills me the whole, like, it's all about, like, card advantage, card advantage. Yes, I'm not going to deny, like, card advantage is a really good thing. And, like, don't get me wrong, if you can play a pot card that can give you a +1, like, cool, man, I get it. And if that card's too problematic, they should limit it to 1 or whatever, like, or ban it. I get it, and I agree with that. It's the every art, like you said, every art type, every card has to be like, well, this card has to be busted. And they end up making effects that are so repetitive, just the same effect for every single monster in the main deck. Every single one. And what monster you get from the extract? Broken as all fuck.
Yeah, and prime examples of this include cards like Crystal Wing, where, like, originally it might have been at least a little bit difficult to get out.
No, they made the Wind Witches. That's the problem. It's not Crystal Wing. It's they made the Wind Witches. That's the problem.
They made more and more things, and it just...
The Wind Witches is the problem. There should not be a one card, hey, free special summon, boom, and then you just make Crystal Wing. Doesn't even cost your normal summon. And it does burn damage on the way there, because you use the Wind Witches to do burn damage. You'll do 1,300 burn damage, get a Crystal Wing, can't be destroyed by card effects, and you haven't used your normal summon yet. And there's not even a restriction about damage. It doesn't even say, like, you can't even do battle damage. It's just like, yep, that's fine.
Sure, it's not, like, a ton of damage, but, I mean, it's little shit that just added up on top of something that didn't need something.
See, and they're all going to be like, yeah, I can't believe you're complaining about the Wind Witches. That's from 3 years ago. It's like, we're just using it as an example. You can pick anything today and read it and be like, oh my god, like, I can't...
We stopped playing with a certain edition to the game.
Can we rant on Brendan for a second? member of the channel?
Yeah.
Lightsworns. You hate Lightsworns. And why do you hate them? Because they're busted to you, right? You're like...
Yeah, because their cost is a benefit to them.
Yeah.
Instead of, it's like, oh, well, you have to fucking send things from the top of your deck in order at the end of the turn because these monsters are so powerful. It's like, oh, geez, can I please?
Okay, so what kills me is, like, we're going over the cards for his deck, and me and him were talking about putting dangers in there, because, like, yeah, that can get you your draw power and, get you a way to pitch your Lightsworns in your graveyard. But before that, he was like, I just don't think that deck's really playable, because they didn't have Fairy Tale Snow, which is the gayest card ever made. I stand by that comment. It's my most hated card ever. Fairy Tale Snow, it is for me. I hate Fairy Tale Snow more than anything else that was ever made. Fairy Tale Snow, they lost that. Brilliant Fusion, they lost that. And he was like, how can I play without Brilliant Fusion? You aren't the only deck that needed Brilliant Fusion for one. Agents as an agent player, which I know there's a million fucking Lightsworn players, and there's like 5 agent players left. No one cares about the archetype anymore, but I do. Chase does. Kinda.
Pluto
and Neptune, give me them. But, like, yeah, I lost Brilliant Fusion. I'm not going to cry about it. I'll figure something else out. Like, I found Celestial Transformation. You can't say, is there no other... Play double summon. And they're like, well, sometimes I only normal summon once, so then it goes to waste. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You can't be like, this is so important where I need my second summon, and then bitch and be like, sometimes I don't go into it. Tough titty, that's part of the game.
But I don't get a free level 5 monster with it that I could sync with.
Yeah, I don't know. That kills me that people are like that. But yeah, going on to him though, he acts like the Lightsworn engine. He's like, well, I don't know where I would really go from here. It's like, you do your synchro into 7 play, which you can do anytime, basically. You have that set up pretty easily.
You do anything the fuck you want.
You're constantly getting a Wolf back or Felice or whatever. You can get those. You have a rank 4 that's easy as fuck to go out that everyone plays any level 4 monster. It's like, hey, I can special summon something else, or I can freely special summon myself. They make those all the time. And we're not even talking about the fact that they have Judgment Dragon is still a card at 3 that you can play more than one of in a turn, and it just requires 4 more lights once you go over, which, by the way, not hard. You have 3 charge life rage, 3 solar recharge. You can play Foolish Burial. I don't really want to hear card destruction. I don't really want to hear your sob stories. I just don't.
Yeah, and like I love luck-based things. So Brendan tries to use the fact that like, oh, Lightsworn's are luck-based, but they seem pretty consistent for something that's luck-based.
I mean, occasionally he'll get the hand where he has like 2 wolves and like a Felice that he can't do anything with, and he's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? It's like, yes, man, that can happen. This is continuing with this subject. Another thing that kills me: people that like complain, they're like, this deck bricks. That's part of what we're talking about.
It should.
Your card, yeah, exactly. If your cards can never brick, then I just don't understand.
Why play the game?
Why play the game if you know that you're going to get your combo 100% of the time? There's no point in playing. Be like, well, it works. It does its thing.
You might as well walk up to the table and be like, hey, I have $5,000, and the other dude's like, I have $6,000. I win. Later. Get fucked, nerd.
You're like, but can we like even play? Can I compete? No, we can't compete. I have more money than you. I win.
Later, dude.
It kills me. Like I said, I would never want to play a deck. Don't get me wrong. You want your deck to be consistent. I get all that. I'm just saying, like, you would never want to play something that you're like, I don't bitch about breaking. I don't. Do I? I don't think I do.
No. It's because it's like...
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, when people... You'll hear people be like, sometimes after a game, they'll be like, dude, I whooped your ass. Like, well, obviously I didn't have any plays, man. Yeah. So it's like, don't let it go too far to your head. But, like, no, I mean, I take it in stride. I'm like, yeah, it happens. But, like, I like the fact that it's like, you do have combo pieces. You can't, like... In Dinosaurs, let's say, which Dinosaurs is a really good deck. If I drew, which I play a jank version of Dinosaurs, so I was gonna be like, of course he fucking bricks. Yeah. If I drew triple Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, which you should play a 3, you're an idiot if you don't. You play triple Ultimate Tyranno, and let's say I drew like double Giant Rex or something like that. I can normal summon a Giant Rex. That's about it. That's kind of a brick. 2,000 that can't
be like, dude, I whipped your ass. Be like, dude, I'll slit your throat.
Yeah. Like, if I did Dark Magicians and I drew, like, all Dark Magicians but no way of, like, actually, like, no back row. Like,
that sucks. Seen that happen before.
Yeah. But anyway, that's kind of with that. It's just the people that aren't grateful for what the game is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a little luck involved. It's supposed to be gamesmanship. You're supposed to be playing a game, not just playing solitaire.
Just have something cost something.
Have something cost something. Make cost in the game. It's okay for a card to have cost. That's why when Dark Magicians, I love to defend that deck, because Eternal Soul, I'm not talking about Red Eyes Dragoon shit, I'm just saying like what they made, Eternal Soul. If the card leaves the field, it's great. Your Dark Magician shit is unaffected by your opponent's card effects or whatever. If the card leaves the field, you lose all your monsters. Period. That's right, you would agree. That's a cost. And that's why we said Eternal Soul can be the greatest card in your deck. It can be the worst card in your deck. Cost. It's okay. It has a price to pay, and that's what those kind of cards should do.
Yeah.
A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives. Great card for heroes, right? Especially someone level 4 lower from your deck. Half your life points. Cost. And then, you know, the card needs to be limited to 1. I get it. I wish it was a 3 because I want it for Neos patients, but cost. Okay.
Also, 1,000 life points isn't cost. Instant fusion.
Well, that's a separate topic. They didn't know the card was going to be that busted at the time. They really didn't, Jesse. People were using it mainly for Tribute Fodder at the time.
Just ban it.
So you did your number 1, right?
Yeah.
That was number 1. My number 1, get rid of Link Monster. I'm sorry, but like...
Saw this one coming.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, so I thought about like maybe switching it up and trying to find... No, this was number 1. So here's the problem, people. We do a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. It's a cool concept. I'm not going to go into all the details because I kind of want it to stay secretive, but basically... We tried playing past formats. It's fun, but it's not my thing because I want to play current Yu-Gi-Oh with my current decks and not be thinking about like, man, I wish I could play current cards this deck the whole time.
You can't play like past formats with current cards because they were fucking busted because of some things.
But my biggest problem is, in order to play current Yu-Gi-Oh, now that Master Rule 5's here, I can play my decks the way I want. I can go off and it's nice and like I don't have to worry about that.
Thank you, Master Rule 5.
But it's still annoying that I have to watch somebody be like, here's my monster. Cool. My monster will pitch something from deck to grave. Cool. I will banish that card that I just pitched to special myself from the field. Cool. Now I'll go into a link summon. Cool. Now I'll gain like 2, you know, I'll just +2 right here because I'll just, or like I sold or whatever. They're like, cool, I'll dump these in the graveyard, then I'll do a search. Like, Or with the rest of the Link plays, like, I'll just special summon this for my hand. Cool. I'll just special summon this. I'll just do another search. I'll just link.
Link up.
Any monster you can get on the field, you just use for a link summon because they're so generic because they all just say effect monster. Just make an effect monster. Just this is a monster. Cool. That's a monster? That works. Just make this for your boss monster.
And every Link ladder card has a card that's just special summons when it hits the field, when it does something, when something hits the graveyard.
Link monsters should have never been allowed to use for Link summons.
Link ladders shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
that's
because
stupid.
It ruins everything. If maybe they changed that, I probably would be a little more okay with it because you'd have to still summon more other monsters besides using themselves. And the fact that you're like, oh, this is a Link 2. I can use it for 2 of the arrows that I need. Oh, it's a Link 4. Cool. I'll use it as 2. So I just need 2 more monsters, and boom, there I go for a Bulbasaur Drake. Bullshit.
Let's talk about how awesome Saryuja is.
Saryuja is retarded, and the fact that card's still at 3 is stupid. Saryuja, hey, cool. I was able to get 4 monsters on the field at once. I'll just reset my hand. Awesome. Not fair. Okay, so then on top of that, where else are we going with this? Like, just, it's the anything can turn into whatever I want for my extra deck. Have a huge problem with that. You can't like shut your opponent out. What's up, Dixon? You can't shut your opponent out. Like, you can't be like, Lava Golem? That's a worthless card. You can't like, oh, cool, I gave you a Lava Golem. Hey, I got you a Kaiju. Cool, I'll just link with it.
Just link fodder now.
Ojama Trio. Hey, I'll give them 3 Ojama tokens. Well, that's great. I'll just use these as tokens to go whatever I want. Stupid. Stupid.
Links, and it sucks because, like, I liked some of the Link cards that were, like, made. Some of the artwork was alright, and I liked the idea of having specified zones.
Yeah, but they butchered it, man. They butchered it.
And they didn't focus on that. They just focused on making powerful extra deck monsters.
Yeah, so I have a few quick little points here, and then we'll get going. So I was watching this Mermail deck profile on Team Samurai's channel the other day, like yesterday, and he had this Mermail chick that like is the Mermaid Atlantean princess or the queen or whatever. She's really good at, and I'll give her that. Like, she knows her combos, but I'm just saying, like, when she goes like, oh, so here's another way we can rip a card out of your opponent's hand, and here's another way where you can always set up Moon Glacier to have 5 water monsters in your hand. What do you think they do, Jesse? They'll like have any 2 monsters, and they go like, well, you just link these off for a water monster. You just link these off and link these off, and I'm like, that's lame. So it defeats the like. Is it impressive for you to be like, oh, cool, did you end up with 5 water monsters in your graveyard? Well, of course you did, because you can just link off whatever's left. It's stupid.
You can just send things to the graveyard whenever you want in order to gain effects, like your fucking Bakura.
Yeah, it kills me, man. It's so stupid. And then, what was the other thing I'm gonna say? Oh, yeah, how's Crystron like needle fiber working for everyone? Is anyone seeing any replays lately of any YouTubers? Do you notice what they all are? Check out Mega Capital G's channel. Everything is a needle fiber replay. And he's like, hey, needle fiber actually works in this deck too, and works in this deck too. No shit. No shit. How do we know that it would be busted that all you need is a tuner to make a needle fiber? And you can just summon any tuner you want for your deck, and then you can synchro summon on your opponent's turn. How do we know that that was going to be busted? How do we know?
Why, Konami? Why?
They know why. Because there's people in this game that are retarded that go like, oh my god, it's good, I have to play it. I don't care how busted it is. That's good. Like, do they not think in their heads like, well, this card's going to get banned like immediately? I don't. Cards like that, like, what do you prove? What is so cool about that? You're like, well, that card's absolutely retarded. The Predaplant Verticonda or whatever, that's a great one, Konami. Let's make any 2 effect monsters give you the ability to use any fusion card you want from your deck and just apply it right there.
Who are the designers by this stuff?
Obviously, they're people in Japan because they're in the OCG first, and they clearly don't know what they're doing. I'm happy with the new, like, that they were like, we're not making a new extra mechanic or summon mechanic. We're just doing, like, here's a new show, like Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 or whatever. Like, let's just do a new show. I'm like, okay, cool. No new summoning mechanic. Good idea. You need to, like, stop it. Okay, so they brought back a lot of what was good in the game about, like, hey, you can now do synchros, fusions, XYZs as you please, and pendulums are still restricted, which pendulums need to stay restricted because that's a stupid mechanic, too. Pendulums I've been a little lighter on because with the only being able to summon 1 for your extra deck, it's not as bad, and it's kind of like, okay, that's a different way to play. And I'm like, as long as you're not just onto the field, then it's like, all right, then I don't mind it that much.
Did you clear my board? Here's the same 5 monsters.
Yeah, that was so stupid. No one should ever be able to defend that. If you try to defend that, you're retarded. But Links, it's not the whole like recursion or whatever. It's the anything becomes anything that I want. And I've made this point 1,000 times. Look at people's extra deck. They're playing the exact same Link monsters as everyone else. Do you know why? Because they don't require any setup. because they're all generic.
Again, getting back to my former point of like, I hate the extra deck at this point.
At this point, yes. At this point, yes. What it was, I think, like at the end of like 2015, 2016, I think the extra deck was still fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. The worst thing you had was like generic rank 4 decks, but there's not really a whole lot you can do about that.
I think you said something to me the other day about like people were arguing about like the amount of cards you're allowed to have in the extra deck. And I was like, yes, it's so fucked. They need to be like 10. He's like, no, people are arguing they need to be more.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
That's okay. So that's another one of those things where I'm like, stop being ungrateful, because like 15, I think is the perfect number. I will always say that I think 15 is fine.
I feel like 10's the perfect number.
10, the problem I have with that, I have too many decks where like, I love making decks where my 40 cards combine with my 15 extra cards, and there's a purpose for every single one of them. There's a way where I can get that out, I can get that out, I can get that out. But I like to run single copies of everything because it gives me options. What I'm saying is if you limit me down to 10, so many decks of mine, like my Cyber Dragons, I pretty much have to pick fusions or XYZs. I couldn't do both. That's like what I don't like about that.
Dude, tell you what would be awesome is if the amount of cards you were allowed to have in your extra deck was tied to how many cards you had in your deck. So you could have like 20 to 60 cards.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care for that, but it's whatever. But
just make it less consistent.
No, but like when they were talking about like, yeah, we need to expand the extra to 20. Like, no, you don't. To fit what? Your art 15 is. I will never say you need more than 15. 15 is fine.
Just because every option.
Just because you have to make decisions to cut out stuff doesn't mean that like, oh, that's a bad choice. That's stupid. That's a stupid thing to be like. Well, like Jesse, like, I want steak. But I also want, like, I don't know, like a full, like a large pizza. Unfortunately, I can only fit one in my stomach kind of at a time. Man, this sucks. Like, shut up.
Just get a second stomach.
No, it's like, exactly. It's like, eat one and, like, save the other one for later. It's okay. Like, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. For them to be like, I have to have all of it in my extra deck at once. If you can summon, why not just make your extra deck infinite? Why not just be able to play anything that you want? Wouldn't that be fun if everyone had access to everything? No, that's fucking stupid.
Just carry a book with you, man. Like, and, oh, here's all my extra deck, by the way. It's every card you can summon.
Watch the movie Incredibles. The wisest thing that's said in that movie is from Syndrome, the bad guy. Because if everyone's super, no one is. If everyone has every card in their extra deck, what's the point? There is no point. There's no combos or anything like that. I love the fact that you have to I love that. Part of deck editing that I'm like, I have to make decisions. Trim this out, trim this out. I love that part of the game. 15, I still have to make those decisions. Don't get me wrong, some decks, it's easier than others where you're like, okay, that was pretty easy. Like, I don't have too many options and I can just kind of fill the rest up with fodder, duplicates, whatever. Other decks, Sylphans, I have so many options that I have to be like, that would be cool, but I can't. That would be cool, but I can't. Keep in mind, I don't even play Links. There's a whole extra mechanic I don't even bother playing. The Link players, they cut all the fun stuff out and they go like, consistency, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken, and then they'll like play like 2 or 3 synchros or 2 or 3 XYZs or 2 or 3 fusions. That's it. But it's like 12 Link monsters. Links have to go away. I don't think the game could ever be what it's supposed to be if Links exist because of the genericness of the mechanic. I think they need to go away, chalk that one up to you made a mistake. It's okay. It's okay, you made a mistake. You tried something, it didn't work. Chalk it up to a mistake. Like you said.
Second time in a row, by the way. Pendulums.
Yeah, Pendulums are a mistake. And then, like, you know, our buddy Brennan loves both of those mechanics. They're both inherently broken. It's weird that he loves both of those.
Fire the people that made those.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. Okay, this was a long video, but I think it's a rant. And we got out pretty much everything that we needed to say about Yu-Gi-Oh! At this moment in time. Are you content?
Yeah.
I'm content. This is Chris.
This is Jesse.
Signing out. Have a good one.
Let us know how you felt in the comments.
Please do. Give me the hate.